9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back. Camille here from 88 Fitness Training. Today we're going to do another video all about competition prep. We're going to add to our prep chronicles, and I'm going to take you through some tips and tricks to get you into that mindset to be a champion. And then from there, I'll take you through my own personal journey as I come to the close in week 1 of 12 to the stage. So if you're getting ready to compete, whether it's your first show or you've done several, the mindset's key, and it's what takes you all the way through to the stage to be successful. So today I'm going to go through 5 tips for getting into the right frame of mind. So the first one I want to talk about is knowing the big and small picture. So before you compete, you really need to go through and understand your why. Why do you want to compete? What is it that's driving you and that's going to get you through the process all the way to the stage? So that's number 1. And that's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of self-reflection on your part. So as you begin your journey, you really want to sit down and take the time to think that through. Really think about what are those near-term goals. And then what are your long-term goals? And then what steps are you going to take along the way as you transition from near to long-term? And then you're also going to want to think through, what keeps you motivated, because you're going to have some really tough days. And if you don't really know what motivates you and how to stay motivated, it makes the journey that much more difficult. And then lastly, one of the things that you're going to want to think about are what are your triggers? What are those things that annoy you or bother you or that are going to get in your way along this process? And then what can you do to combat those things so you're successful at the end of the day? So number 1, consider the big and small picture. Number 2, eliminate barriers and distractions. So going through a competition is hard enough, let alone if you have added distractions. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is to deconflict your schedule. Look at all of the events and the regular occurring things that you have going on in your life and see if there's items that you can either limit, restrict, remove, or change so you have more time for competition prep. So going through a show, you're busy. I mean, you are putting the time in the gym, you're doing excessive amounts of cardio at times, and you're tired and you're hungry. And so you just, you simply don't have the energy at the end of the day to do all these extra activities. So if you're big into social functions and volunteering, or maybe you even compete in other sports, I mean, that's something you're going to want to think about. You're really going to want to see, do I have time for these activities? Do I have the energy? And then you're going to have to kind of set your limits and talk to your family and friends so they understand. Especially if you're looking to compete over the summer, there's lots of vacations and things to consider. You're going to want to strategically place those vacations in your prep, and preferably, maybe avoid doing some of those activities so you're more successful. Another thing that comes up a lot are birthdays. So James Houston actually just had a birthday this past Thursday, and that can be tricky because a lot of times you want to go out, you want to celebrate, you want to eat birthday cake, and a lot of times those items aren't in your plan. So you really need to pre-plan. So for us, one of the things that we did was to go a little more into it during the week, do a little extra cardio, restrict the calorie intake a little more so we could have that piece of birthday cake. But these are all things that you're going to want to think about before you start your prep. And by before, you probably want to be looking at it 20 weeks out for the show, if not longer, and really plan it out so you're successful. So number 2, eliminate barriers and distractions. All right, number 3, identify your support structure. So going through competition prep is really challenging. You really need that strong support structure that you can lean on the times where you're, at your weakest, or you're, having that doubt. So whether that's a spouse, a significant other, a friend, or even just your coach or your trainer, you really need to identify who are those people that you can lean on and rely on. And then you want to have that conversation with them so they know that. So, when you're going through a show, you really just aren't yourself. It's hard, especially the closer to the stage you get, as you're like 4 weeks, 2 weeks out. You really just, you kind of feel like almost like this empty shell of yourself, and your family and friends notice that. So you definitely want to have that conversation. You're going to want to let them know what you're going through, what to expect. So, tell them, hey, I'm going to be tired for this next 12 weeks. I'm, not going to have the energy and the patience to really participate in extra activities and do extra things, and lean on them a little more and have them help you. So whether that's, help planning events, help with meal prep, help with extra chores, or just, being more patient and listening to you. There's times where I swear I feel like I'm a broken record. I just come home, I'm so tired. And so it can be hard on your loved ones, they kind of get sick of hearing that after a while. And then children. So I don't have children, but so for my clients that do, it can be really tough. Kids are energetic. They want you to play and do all these things, and you are just going to be worn out. So again, that's something to think about, something to discuss with your significant other, your spouse, and really align yourselves with people that are going to support you. And speaking of that, you are going to find that people that you thought did support you, people you thought were your friends, all of a sudden aren't so supportive during this process. They really don't understand at times like why you won't go out with them, why you can't just have that serving of fries or, that martini, whatever it may be. And so at times you might actually lose friends during this process, and it's okay. I say just surround yourself with people that do support you. Place yourself in that bubble. Try to not really listen to what others are saying. You're going to hear everything. First people will be supportive. Oh, you look great. You're losing weight. And then next thing you know, it's, hey, are you all right? You don't look so good. And they really just don't understand the process and kind of what you're going through. So really don't pay them any mind. Just keep driving forward, stay focused, and lean on the ones that do support you. Number 4, set achievable goals. So definitely get a trainer or a coach, and that prep coach can really help set those goals for you. And you really need to be realistic. So it's pretty tough when someone's, 50 pounds over stage weight and they want to compete in 8 weeks. There aren't any cutting corners. So you really need to put the time in and give yourself enough time, because if you don't, that's kind of setting yourself up for failure. And we don't want that. So definitely be realistic. And then also be realistic with how you're supposed to feel at that goal at that point in time, right? So, let's say you're 8 weeks out from a show, you're starting to get hungry. You're gonna feel hungry. It's unrealistic to think that you're gonna go through this process and you're not gonna be tired. You're not gonna be, hungry or not yourself. So really think about that ahead of time, and, so you're expecting those things. The other thing is with the goal setting, set micro goals week to week. So for me, especially when I'm like 12 weeks out, I can almost look at it as a weight goal. Like, okay, I want to lose 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds this week. That way I'm only focused on that. I'm not focused on, okay, well, I don't look the way I'm supposed to look on peak week. Well, of course you don't, I'm 12 weeks out. So by setting those micro goals, it gives you these little quick wins that really helps you to stay motivated along the way. So tip 4, set achievable goals. All right, last one, visualize success. So you should not be going into this thinking, I'm not going to win. You need to wake up and go to bed every day saying, I'm going to go hit that stage and I'm going to be number 1. You can't think for a single second that you're not going to win. You need that to visualize that success and that win. And that's what really keeps you motivated. That's what's going to drive you through all of those really tough and really hard days. And you're going to have moments where you doubt yourself, but just say it over and over and over again. I am doing this and I'm going to win. All right, so just as a recap, the 5 tips to get into the mindset to be a champion. 1, consider the big and small picture. 2, eliminate barriers and distractions. 3, identify your support structure. 4, set achievable goals. And 5, visualize success. All right, now that we've gone through the tips to getting into the right mindset to compete, I'll go a little bit through where I'm at on my own personal journey. So I'm getting ready to do 2 shows, but really just 1 because I'm going to win that pro card this year. But I'm getting ready to do the 2021 USA Masters show. It's out in Arizona, so I'm looking forward to that. Nice warm weather in December 11th. And so I'm about 12 weeks out from the stage. And really, by the time you see this, it'll be 11 weeks. And so at this point in my prep, things are really well mapped out. I'm doing cardio like a well-oiled machine, and my food's really regimented. So for me personally, I'm a little carb sensitive, so I remove carbs pretty early on. So I'm in the process of carb depleting. So I'll restrict carbs for about 6 days, and then I'll do a carb day that's a little higher. So on my restricted days, I'm right around about 40 grams for the day. And then on those higher carb days, around 200 grams. But that really helps me to burn off the excess fat. And so each week I'm kind of just leaning out, looking at the physique, seeing what needs to be tweaked. In terms of protein, I'm eating about 30 grams of protein 4 times a day. And again, my meals are pretty simple. I try not to overcomplicate the process. It's hard enough as it is. So yeah, just some type of protein source. I'll supplement with protein shakes. And then again, on carb days, I'll eat things like rice cakes, sweet potatoes, just like white rice, things like that. So in terms of the process, again, cardio and diet. That's really where I'm at. I don't really do a whole lot of extra things at this point because I am doing a lot of cardio. I'm up over an hour a day, 7 days a week, and that's on top of lifting. So I do lift 6 days a week for about an hour, hour and a half, depending on the body part. So me, for my whole focus, off season and now is still legs. I really needed to bring up my glutes and hamstring. But I am a pretty busy person. I'm always active. So I have obviously 88, so I'm a personal trainer, and then I do have a full-time job on top of that. So it can be really tricky to get all that cardio in. But as I say, you got to plan to be successful. So I make a plan and then I make backup plans. I mean, there are definitely days where, I had planned to get cardio in the morning or after work, and then I have to come in early or stay late type deal. So I always have a backup plan on how I'm going to get my cardio in for the week, and just go from there. But yeah, things are off to a really great start. I'm leaning out the way I should be. I should be right on track to hit that stage weight right around 120 pounds. So I'm pretty excited. I'll be competing in women's physique, and then I also cross over into women's bodybuilding. I do the lightweight or middleweight class, depending on which one they have at the show, but it's always under 125 pounds. So I'm pretty tiny, it's a tiny person, but nevertheless, I'm looking forward to this next 12 weeks, and I'll be hitting you guys with videos. So we'll probably do another one at the 8-week mark, and then another at 4, and then I'll do weekly from then on out as I get ready to the stage. So I hope you've enjoyed today's videos. I've really enjoyed sharing this information with you. And so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and definitely leave us some feedback. So if there's things that you want to know more about, just drop a comment to us and we'll make a video for you. But I really appreciate taking the time to watch this video. Camille, 88 Fitness Training.